Hello and welcome to Lesson 11 of Youth Code Jam's online bits and bytes sessions. Today we're going to be doing an activity called Parts of Speech Instrument. And what that is we'll be using the Microsoft MakeCode editor to, it has a microbit simulator on there for us to make a instrument that will make different sounds when you click it to indicate a different part of speech. So that's a little confusing. We'll get more clear as I show you the activity. But basically we're going to be working with sounds today and it'll be fun. So reminder, our lesson schedule is Mondays and Wednesdays. New things go up online. Tuesdays and Thursdays at 4, we have the Q&A sessions. So if you guys have questions or you want to show off what you did, or you just in general questions about the lesson or about what we're doing, go ahead and register for these sessions, and that's a great time to ask them and get face-to-face feedback on everything. Everything is free. It doesn't take any time. You don't have to stay on. It's about a 40-minute session. You don't have to stay on the whole time, but we would really love to see people and what they've done. Okay, so reminders about a couple things. All of our stuff is online at youthcodejam.org under the Bits and Bytes online page. So all of the lessons will be posted. This lesson will be posted up at the top after I record it and update it online. And then this part will update every time we have new live sessions. So for this video, the live session will be on Tuesday, April 21st. We will have a live session for the Parts of Speech instrument on April 21st. So you can register for that one or as many as here. And the great thing about this link is it actually is going to take you to our active page, which is where we hold registration for everything. All of this is free. You'll notice at the top, we have our inaugural virtual code jam hosted there, and what that is it's on our whenyou.org page, and students have access to a bunch of workshops on how to use different technology, and then we'll complete a challenge of their choice to try and win a competition. There's lots of cool prizes in that, so we recommend checking this out. This activity, these challenges, all of our activities are for students in grades K through 12. Unless otherwise stated, we do some teacher development stuff, and that's clearly marked on everything. One of these workshops is technically for parents. So if you are a parent or a guardian of a student that signed up, we have this encouraging inventive thinking series. Well, this is the topic, but we're gonna have a series of different educators basically coming in to help answer questions or give you resources, since a lot of parents are now homeschooling, which is very different than what many were used to. So these will be educators that have experience working in schools that can pass on some helpful knowledge to you guys. So your student does need to be signed up for the jam in order to for you to access this, for the parent to access this series. Okay, so I think that's all the housekeeping. Let's go right in. I'm going to open up a new tab and I'm going to type in Microsoft. Oh, sorry. So actually that wasn't it. If you remember, we used to have bit.ly links for all of our activities. We're not going to do that anymore. When this lesson is uploaded, go ahead and you will go to the download section and you will download whatever file is available here. And then it will just open in a second window, and you can leave it up or you can download it. So today's activity I obviously have downloaded because I need it to look at. So we're going to be doing a parts of speech instrument today, and in this activity you're going to build a musical instrument that you can play when you hear specific types of words. So we're going to do a noun, an adjective, and verb, and a conjunction. So when you would hear one of those types of words, you would you'll use a type of input. You'll push a button or shake your device to make a sound go off. Now, an amendment to this is that we aren't obviously all going to have microbits today. That's okay. There's an online simulator for us that I'll show you in just a minute, and we can do everything there. I really think this activity will be fun for you guys to apply to some of your schoolwork, and we'll get into some ideas of that as we walk through. So back in my browser, I'm going to type in Microsoft MakeCode. It's going to be this one right here. So you'll see Microsoft MakeCode, and then right above it, you'll see www.microsoft.com English MakeCode. So you could go there. The better one to do is to go to makecode.microbit.org. So let's type that in. Makecode.microbit.org. Okay, so this is going to take us to the editor, and we're going to just hit New Project. And so we're going to start with the OnStart and Forever loops available to us. Now, if you remember in Scratch, the forever loop just means that whatever we put in here is going to continue until we give it until we somehow override that. And then the OnStart is when we start the program it's going to run. So these are our drawers, just like what we've done in Scratch. They just have different names. So basic, we'll have some things. A lot of this is kind of graphics based, so based on pictures, because you'll have these little LED lights on our microbit here will light up. Input are the buttons that are pressed. So there's A. If you look over here at the simulator, we have A and B, and then the grounding. There's lots of, you can still do input on this, and we'll work through how. So if you don't have a microbit at home, this is how we're going to work through it. If you do, you don't really need to plug it in just yet. You can hold off, and at the end, I will walk through what to do if you do have a microbit. But first, we're going to act like we don't. So back in our activity sheet, I'm going to go to step 1. And we're going to keep the OnStart block, and then we're going to get this show icon block. Now, because it's blue, I know it's coming out of the basic drawer. And then we're going to choose an icon to show up when it starts. So back in our workspace, we're going to hit basic, and then look for show icon and drop it inside the OnStart button. If we down click this, we can see that there's lots of pre-made options for us. You guys can do whatever you want here. There's a Pac-Man ghost, there's some arrows it looks like, shapes. I want to do the Pac-Man ghost, so we're going to do that. Now if you see over here, because I made that change, it'll light up. So you'll see reactions as we work through this on your simulator, and we'll be able to mimic some of the behavior with this one and adapt it to work in this environment. Right, so on step 2, we're going to drag an on button A press block from the input drawer, and we're going to put it anywhere. You see how it doesn't have kind of that attachment piece, it stands on its own. So we're going to come over here and get this on button A pressed. And I'm actually going to go ahead and delete this forever block. I don't think we need it. If we do, I'll get it later. So on button A pressed. And then we're going to go to the music drawer and grab this ringtone that says middle C. Now I do not have a background in music, so these notes don't really mean much of anything to me, so I'm going to definitely stick with the activity sheet on this one. But if you want, you can click in that circle and hit the different keys. I do not know how loud that was for you guys, but hit the different keys to hear what the sounds are. So I think ours was a middle C. The other thing you can do is you can type in middle C if you want to get back to that. Nope. Middle G, middle F, middle D. There we go, middle C. You can't type it in, you gotta find it. Okay, so we have our first sound. So now when we press the A button, that sound is going to show up. And because it's the simulator, it's not going to stop. So if you didn't see that, so this got a little bigger when we started adding code. But so when you press, if you press your button here, it's gonna set it off. This doesn't have a real way to stop it, so it's going to continue, which might be really annoying and really loud to people around you. So after you, so if I press that again, so I'll press play. So now it stopped it and it's good, but if I press A, all right, it's going, hit that stop button down here underneath the microbit and it'll stop that sound. So that's how you can test it to see if your input is working. All right, on to step 4, we're going to change the value. So we're going to change the value of the tone to video. It looks like we're going to actually change that tone to middle E. Again, you can do whatever you want. I will follow the instructions so that there's a example of what the program should look like when we're done. So we're changing that to middle E. All right, so right click on the button A and select duplicate. Show the blocks that were just created. I feel like we have some blocks missing. It looks like we do. Okay. Oh, because 4, 5. So if you notice that on this page, we went 1, 2, 3. And on instruments of speech, it went 4, 5, and jumps back up to 6. That's a design issue that we will need to go back and fix so that it's clear. But so 5 was setting that first tone to middle E. And then we're going to go to 5 now and add some extra code in here. So when we hit the A button, we're going to set off the middle E sound, and we're going to have the A button print out an N, and that N is going to stand for noun. So if you hear the word cat, you could press A and it would go off. We're going to rest the beat of it for a 1/16 of a beat. So that's how long it will last, and then the whole screen is going to clear and the sound should stop. So back in our workspace, let's go to the basic drawer and get show string. So show number, show string right here. And one nice thing about this program is that you don't have to worry about these quotation marks around it. It's going to autofill those in no matter what you do. So I'm going to hit in. So you could type in noun. All that would happen is that it would scroll across your screen when we press the A button. N will be easily seen. So we're going to keep it small so that the whole thing fits on our LED square lights. And then we're going to go ahead, while we're in the basic drawer, we're going to grab the clear string. So we're going to go to more. Clear screen is under more if you didn't quite catch that. So in basic, you'll see these 3 dots and the word more. You'll go there and grab clear string. And then under music, we're going to get the reset millisecond block and change it to a 1/16 of a beat. All right, so now we can go on to step 6, which is at the top of our worksheet. And we're going to duplicate that whole block we just made. So that's pretty easy to do. You're going to right click. So if you're using a mouse, you're going to use that right button and right click down and hit duplicate. And it's okay if it goes out like this. It's just because it's saying we already have a block. So we're going to set this to block B, and now it's active for us. If you don't have a mouse and you're on a laptop to duplicate, you're going to do Control right click on a Mac. I'm not sure what you would do on a Windows, but however you activate the right click with the keyboard on the Windows is another one of how to do that. But most Windows-based computers already have the right click active on the trackpad. So you would just go click in the right corner of your trackpad if you're using Windows. If you're using Apple, you need to use the Control left click. All right. So now that we've duplicated that, we're going to see what it wants us to change the settings to. So I already turned it to B, so it wouldn't be ghosted out on our screen. So let's go on to step 8. And in step 8, we're going to change our value to G sharp. So click inside here. And if you notice, it tells you in white the name of the note. So I'm looking for G sharp. Is it middle or regular? Middle G sharp. It's very loud. Okay. And then we're going to change it to C. So C is going to stand for conjunction, which are the words and, or, and but. There might be more, because possibly. Conjunction. So it's used to connect words, phrases, or clauses. So yeah, words like and, or, but, possibly because, depending on the context. Those are conjunctions. All right, and then I believe we're going to leave it resting at a 16th beat. Yep. So on step 10, we're going to duplicate that whole block again, change it to A plus B, and then change our ringtone to high D sharp and to show the letter A when we're done. Okay, so duplicate that block again, drag it over so it's not overlapping another block. Using the drop down, change it on the on button, press block, change it to A plus B. What did I say that was going to be? It's going to be a high D. High D. Which number, if you want to type it in, is 587. And then we're going to show the letter A. Everything else stays the same. So on 13, we're going to drag out an on shake block. And this is where I believe we can still do this, even though we're only using the simulator. So we're going to go ahead and drag the on shake block. Okay. So inside, where are we? On shake. So on 13. We're now on page 4, step 14. So we're going to add in, we're going to go do something. So we duplicated this whole pink block. This time we're going to go inside and do, well, it doesn't really matter. We're going to duplicate that red block anyways. You can go back to the drawer and get one. That might be easier. We're going to set that to middle B. Nope. Middle B. Right? And then I'm going to go back here and duplicate the show string and set it to, we should have V. This should be verbs, which is appropriate because to indicate a verb, we're going to shake. And those last two will be the same that they've been the whole time. Okay? You can duplicate. Okay. All right, so that's it for our code. We are going to test it out. Just a warning, it's going to be loud when we start playing. So, yep, we have access to all these buttons, even though we're only on the computer. So we have A, B, you can hit this button and it'll shake. And then we have A plus B. So if I say the word run, that's a verb. So we're gonna hit the shake option. And so you see how that time it didn't keep going, it stops. So that's our clear screen and beat working. And it should have showed the letter B. Okay, so now if I said the word dog or house, you would hit A for noun. What are our other conjunction? If I said the word and, you could do A plus B, which printed out a weird C. In C, oh, B. B would be C. And then A stands for an adjective, I believe. Let's check our sheet. A is an adjective. So I got confused adjectives and adverbs. So let's look at an example of an adjective. So if I said something like small, large, square, round, we would hit the, too many windows. We would hit the adjective button, which is A plus B. So we'd hit that. So you can play with this and you can adapt it to work for your homework. So if you wanted to make something like a math quiz, you could do, if you were practicing addition, multiplication, substitution, anything like that, you could make it a sound so that you choose the method. So if I said, how do we solve 2 plus 2, you would click a button to say addition and then say 4 or something like that. If you have vocabulary words, you can adapt this to kind of be basically you can turn this into a game of a sound buzzer and have it as a group with your siblings if you want. So all of you can sit there and do parts of sentences basically and sound off which one is, what word is falls under what category. We did this in person. They had a lot of fun. We learned a lot about how words have multiple uses, and sometimes adjectives are adverbs, or nouns are adjectives, and stuff like that. So that can be really fun. You can adapt this to work for other kinds of homework, or you can just play around with it and make music. So if we did all that in a row. So the reason we did those sounds is because they all sound really well together. If you do have a microbit, you could download this. So what you would do is you would plug in your microbit to the computer, hit the download option. So this file is going to download. I'm going to open this file in my Finder. Maybe. I think it might still be. Oh, okay. So I would actually go to my downloads folder and I would look for that. What was it called? I didn't name it, so it's going to be microbit untitled. You should really always name it. So I would go here to hex. And you can't open it. But if I have the microbit attached, I would drag this over here to wherever I saw the microbit icon and drop it in, and that would download my program. And then you could unplug it. But to listen to it on your microbit, you have to have a headphone jack and alligator clips. So you would attach one alligator clip to the ground here, and then to the very top of the, or bottom of the jack where it meets the rubber, and then attach another one to 0 in here. And that's how you would be able to hear it. There's no sound control once it's on your microbit, but it's pretty simple to download. And if those instructions were too rushed, we do have instructions down here on how to download it to your microbit. But I'm going to assume most of you don't, so you can play around with the code on the online space and play with the simulator here. It works just as well and should work for most things you want to do. So you can treat this kind of like Scratch, but you're not going to have the visual aspects so much with it, but there's lots of stuff to do in here, and you get a little bit more interaction with this than you do with some of our Scratch activities, even if you're just clicking on a screen. So you can see there's lots of ways to do input. Some of these you can't do because we don't have a way to do acceleration or light and stuff with that, but you can definitely play with different inputs on the button on this one. You can play with music, you can play with the lights and how to work those. There is stuff that you can do with this application just on the computer. And then if you ever want to do an activity with the microbits themselves, once we can have in-person meetings again, we try to bring the microbits around every so often to the in-person Bits and Bytes after school club. So that is a good chance to get to play with them. And then sometimes our jam events have them available as activities or station activities. So that's all we have for today. I hope you guys go register, and I'll see you at the online Q&A session tomorrow. All right, have a great day.